Vice presidential nominee Sarah Palin is in New York to meet with world leaders at the United Nations. She met a lot of worldly people yesterday, too.
She did.
And the McCain camp is taking a little heat for allegedly keeping reporters away from her.
But, you know, it's interesting because she's trying to get an instant education. She met with Henry Kissinger, as I said. It's interesting, after all these years, that he still is so important that these people, that Sarah Palin, they're there. Well, you know, hugs and kisses. Yeah.
That's very nice.
So she met with the president of Colombia, the Afghan president, Hamid Karzai, the Georgian president, the Ukrainian president, the Iraqi president, the Indian prime minister, and Bono.
All in 1 hour.
All in 1 hour. So this is so now she can say,
Well, sure.
Yeah.
She must have a notebook full of stuff that she's got to take home and study. That's a lot of people
to studying. You think?
No, why wouldn't you have to study? You're meeting all those people. They have different philosophies, different views. That's a lot of stuff to study.
Look, it's also about establishing maybe connections. So if she did have questions in the future, she could go and at least contact them, having met them in person.
That's how I did it.
Yeah. You
that's how you did.
That's how I met. I mean, I'm serious when I say that. That's how I met a lot of the world leaders, because I was lucky enough to be involved with things with the UN, and so I got to meet a lot of people. So if I do have a question about something that's going on, I actually can call someone.
You can pick up the phone and say,
that's great.
You can pick up the phone and say, hello, Mikhail, when you want to speak to the Georgian president.
Sure.
Well, when Gorbachev was in, I could.
Hamid. That's terrific.
Maybe they text.
Campbell Brown on CNN yesterday lit into the McCain campaign because she said that it is sexist of the McCain campaign to keep the reporters away from Sarah. That the underlying conclusion that people can draw is that they think Sarah is not qualified to speak, and that she's a strong woman, she's an Alaskan, she's a hunter. Why can't she speak to the reporters? And Campbell says it's sexist.
I don't think it's because she's a woman. I think it's because they are afraid that she may make a mistake because she's uninformed. I don't think it's, well, you're a woman and I won't let the reporters.
Well,
I think it's nervous about what will she say.
Who's running this election?
So the question would be,
is it the media? Is it the reporters
question to that
that are running
point.
this election now? So they have to, I don't know, concerns me.
The question to that point would be, if she were an uninformed male, quote unquote, would they then allow her to speak to the press? So then it is sexist.
No, I don't think it has to do whether she's a woman or a man. I think if you're an uninformed man, they might have the same barrier. They might be. I don't think it's. And so we would like to say once more, we would love to have Mrs. Palin on this program. We hope she's not nervous.
But you say that the press is not running this campaign.
Well, they are.
But don't you believe in freedom of the press? Don't you believe that these candidates should speak to the press?
I believe so, but I also don't believe that it should come at the threat or at the. When people from the press are making demands, I think yes, they should speak.
I think they're demanding it because the time. I think, in fairness to the press, I think everybody is trying to get as much information as they can in a short amount of time.
Isn't this a regular thing?
Well, I would like to get it. I want to hear. I want to go somewhere and hear her speak.
Maybe they're afraid of her saying something like Joe Biden said about the Depression when he kind of botched that.
You know,
it's funny because I know that it is very hard for you to accept the fact that just because someone makes a gaffe, whether it's President Bush waving at somebody who can't see or Joe Biden gesturing to someone who can't stand up because they're in a wheelchair. These are not the issues. What we want to know is, what does Sarah Palin think? I want to hear her speak. I want to hear her speak. I want to hear them talk about what's important. And that, to me, from now on, I don't want to hear any more talking heads like you said. No more BS. Let's get to what the real facts are. So let's go back, and when we come back,